Hey guys, here we are with another little winter project, and maybe some of you guys will know exactly what this is, some of you guys may not. What this is a positive piston stop. Now I made this using a 3/8 bolt out of my harmonic balancer set, so I can still use the bolts, just another bolt use for the bolt I should say, and an old spark plug. And basically what I did was busted the old porcelain out of the end. Be careful doing that, it is sharp, it's a lot harder than you think. I used a chisel and a ball-peen hammer and some patience and got it to break up in little pieces and come out. That's not what the band-aid's from. I didn't cut myself doing that. I cut myself cooking dinner. But once I got the porcelain out, I basically drilled that hole where the electrode used to come through out with a, I think it's 11/32 drill bit, just to make it a little bit bigger and closer to the size I was going to tap. And then I tapped it for a 3/8 13 or something of that nature bolt, whatever size this bolt was. I matched it up with my tap and die set. So now I have a positive piston stop. If you work this thing down into your cylinder, your piston will come up and it'll make contact and it'll stop it. Now, if you don't have a clue what this is for, it's basically for setting top dead center with the heads on the vehicle. You'll rotate the engine clockwise, for example, till it contacts the piston stop, then you'll rotate it the other way, counterclockwise, till it contacts the piston stop. And if you put marks at each of those two locations, dead center between those two is pretty close to top dead center. It's never going to be accurate 100%, but it gets you pointed in the right direction. If you have any questions about your timing marks being off on your harmonic balancer or something of that nature, you can buy these things through Summit Racing or Jags or somewhere like that. They're typically like 10-15 bucks, maybe a little bit more with shipping. But if you have just a 3/8 bolt laying around and an old piston or an old spark plug, you can make this. Now that you have this, if you wanted to keep just one tool for that, you could get a piece of pipe, thread it to that same 3/8 13 or what have you thread, and then put your regular air chuck or something on the other side. What I'm probably going to do, since I have a bunch of these laying around, is I'm going to bust one of the porcelain out of one of the other ones and weld that onto there. And so basically what you could do, if you use the pipe method, you'd be able to screw that out, put your bolt back in or what have you. You can not only have a positive piston stop, but you can use this. You can put 10-15 pounds of air with your air compressor through there, that and a piece of cloth basically. You could diagnose valves. You know, if you have an exhaust valve leaking, it's going to leak through the exhaust. If you have an intake valve leaking, it's going to leak up through the carburetor. So basically, with this junk, as I like to call it, stuff you got around the house, you can make this stuff and save yourself a few bucks. And it's always fun to make stuff. I enjoy that. And if you watch some other videos, I like doing things on the cheap. I'm budget minded, frugal, whatever you want to call it. I like making things, and it saves me a few bucks here and there. And as far as just to follow up on that oil pump primer I was making, or engine primer, that's basically the finished deal. As you can see, I tack welded my washer on there. It's not real straight, it doesn't have to be, because there's going to be some play in this thing, a little bit of adjustability and whatnot. But again, between these two tools, and probably all set about 2.5-3 hours of work, I saved myself 35-40 bucks, something like that. So just kind of neat little projects I like to do, and hopefully somebody out there, it'll inspire you to get out in the garage and work on stuff. So take it easy and stay tuned.